Hi, I'm Cathy Neptune, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to share with you tips, tools, and recipes to make your time in the kitchen fun, fast, and fabulous. And today we're going to talk turkey and everything that goes with it for Thanksgiving. Do you have any leftovers after Thanksgiving? Well, you should, because that's where you want to be at the day after Thanksgiving. So I'm using all my leftovers, not all, but most of what I had left over. And when I was making Thanksgiving dinner, I kind of put my mind to what am I going to use these leftovers for? And I cooked them appropriately. So I always make too much. Everybody eats a lot, and then we have leftovers. So we're going to start out with turkey bombs. Boom. How good does that sound? We're going to take our leftover turkey, dress it up with whatever we have, make it work with a wonderful cranberry-mustard barbecue dipping sauce to go with it. Sound good? Does to me. So let's get started. I have here, this is what we're going to stuff our turkey with. Some regular Grand's biscuit dough that you buy in the tube, and open them up. And I'm just going to keep those covered and chilled so they don't get too soggy. And on our tray here, I have about 2 cups, more or less, of chopped turkey meat. And you can use any kind of turkey meat that you have. And the reason you want to chop it really finely, and I used a food chopper, but you can put it in a blender, but chop it finely because you don't want it to poke through the dough. The dough is kind of delicate. So you want to have it so that it's finely chopped. And then I had stuffing. So we want to add a little bit of stuffing and save some for another recipe that we're doing. And make sure that's finely minced in there. And then think about all the flavors that you have in this stuffing. We don't want a lot, but this is kind of like a binder, if you will, to keep everything together when we put them inside of our dough. And then I had some chopped up bacon. I made some Brussels sprouts with a maple glaze and bacon. And so I had cooked a little extra bacon. So how bad is that going to be with a little bacon? And then I had some cheese from some of my appetizers. And I have all kinds of cheese in here. I have a little bit of Swiss, a little bit of American, some Parmesan. And I'm not doing any measurements. It just whatever looks good to you, because I'll tell you, this makes a great leftover sandwich. Or do a grilled cheese, kind of like put some cranberry sauce in this and make a wonderful grilled cheese sandwich. Or you dip your bread in an egg batter and make like a Monte Cristo. It's really good. We might as well use it all, because I always buy a lot of cheese to put in everything. And then here's the fun part. You know what this is? I had some ranch dressing that I did for dips. And when you think about what's in ranch dressing, it's basically you buy the seasoning mix. I'm just going to start with a little bit, so it'll be nice and moist. You could do gravy if you want, but I like the flavors of the ranch with the bacon. It gives a good excuse to use bacon in these turkey bombs. And the ranch dressing has garlic, onion powder. I put in some chives, some, what else? Dill weed, a little bit of mayo, but I used yogurt and ricotta cheese to make it a little creamier. And I was going to do, instead of the ranch, I made a wonderful spinach and artichoke dip. And I thought, oh, that'd be really good. But darn it, they ate all my spinach artichoke dip. So I had the ranch dressing. I thought that'd be a really good combination. So I just want to put enough so that it kind of binds it, but not too loose, because you don't want it coming out of the pastry. So just enough so it holds together, kind of like a meatloaf mixture, but better. Oh, I can smell the garlic and dill. Really good. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to make a mess here. I'm going to take some of my biscuits And I have a little bit of flour. I think I'm going to do this right on my clean counter. And I have a little bit of flour here, just in case the dough sticks. I'm going to take one of these and roll your dough roller in a little bit of flour. And you just want to roll it out probably 4 or 5 inches. Okay, and you can certainly do these ahead of time. And then I have a scoop, a medium scoop, and take a good amount. And I have my oven preheating at 375. And this should make 8 of them. And I'm just taking the dough, pinching it together at the bottom, like so. And I think I'm going to do them setting up like this on the tray so that they don't leak out the bottom. So let's do another one. Keep it going. I thought the spinach and artichoke would be a good idea to do. But you could also do, let's say you could do a Mexican one and use the turkey, of course, and do some salsa and some Mexican, like a taco seasoning, and do a Mexican version. You could do an Italian version with Parmesan. See how I'm just pinching the dough over like a dumpling. You could do a ham and cheese one, like a real Monte Cristo. That would be good. And get the kids involved in doing this. You can't ruin this. You know, you just keep rolling and packing and filling. And don't forget the bacon is in there too. So great sandwich stuffing to make for sandwiches as well. These would be great for game day. Then by the time you finish them, you're going to get pretty good at this. Make sure you seal them very well on the top. And I'm going to finish doing all of these. And when we come back, I'll show you how to finish these off with a wonderful glaze. So we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Look at our turkey bombs filled with all kinds of goodies. And be sure to take this and adapt it to what your family would like too. You could put blue cheese and walnuts in there with a blue cheese dressing instead of the ranch dressing. It's limitless what you can do. You could even do a pizza one with pepperoni and mozzarella. That'd be to die for. And then use a pizza sauce to dip them in. So do your favorites and then let me know. I hear from so many good ideas, and I thank you for those too in your comments. It makes it so fun. Now, because we don't want to do anything plain, and I always have butter around the holidays, I made a little garlic butter here, and just melted the butter with the garlic, and it gives it a nice flavor, and it puts a nice little glaze on the top. You can never have too much butter on anything. And brush it on. And don't be a little adventuresome. Don't worry too much about the number of, the measurements on the ingredients. Just do what you and your family would like. And you can't go wrong. So there's that. And then I thought for the topping, just sprinkle a little dab of cheese on each one because it's going to make it nice and brown and golden. Or you can leave them like this and make them look like little purses. These are the best little turkey bombs you'll ever have. And they make great lunches too. So we're going to pop these in our 375 oven. And I'm going to put the timer on. Put those in. And let's do timer. Let's do 24 minutes. And see what they look like. And then we're going to go right over. Here, more stuffing, because you always have a lot of stuffing. And we are going to make some stuffed mushrooms because I put mushrooms in my gravy, and I bought extra because I thought those would be good stuffed. So we're going to do stuffing stuffed mushrooms. And you notice that these are turned upside down, and look at all the juice that comes out. And I didn't want too much juice inside, so I turned them upside down, and we're going to put the stuffing on there. And I baked these, or really roasted them, at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. So they're a little bit soft and pre-cooked. And they're cooled, and you could do that ahead of time if you'd like. And then in here, we're going to take the base of our mixture, which is going to be more stuffing. So you can use a cornbread stuffing, a homemade stuffing, whatever you have on hand. That might be a little too much because these are real tiny. I think that's a little too much. Okay. So we have more stuffing left over. These are stems that I cooked with some leftover onions. And I'm going to put those in. And I sauteed these a little bit. They were left over from the gravy mixture that I made. So I had leftover stems with a little bit of onions and garlic. I had some chives from my homemade Boursin cheese. Check out the recipe on my show. So I did that kind of for color. And turkey sausage. I did this in another version of my stuffings. I have some vegan guests for Thanksgiving, and I did my stuffing some with and without sausage. So this is homemade turkey sausage that I always do this time of year. Oh, that smells so good. And then I have some fresh parsley here that I'm going to do. Let me get my cutting board, and we'll do a little snippet of fresh parsley. Just to make it nice and fresh. And this is the last of my herb garden. It's all freshly picked and washed and dried. And it just adds a nice freshness to the stuffing stuffed mushrooms. And even if you didn't have any leftover stuffing, it's a good excuse to make some because these are so good. Okay, put a little bit in, probably about a tablespoon or so, just till it looks like a comfortable amount. Okay. Save that, and then I'm going to take a little bit more because we have plenty of cheese. You can see how much stuffing we're going to have left over. This would be good in a little crunch wrap you can make in a flour tortilla. And put this inside with an egg. Be killer. And the cheese will help hold everything together. Give it a nice creaminess. And then let's just stuff these. And the great thing about this recipe is you can do just about any temperature you want. But we're going to bake these as well at 375. And they don't take very long at all because everything is cooked already. So you're just basically melting the cheese and warming up the mushrooms. This is also a great job for somebody if you want to keep them busy in the kitchen and they offer to help. Say, yeah, you can stuff some stuffing mushrooms for me. And every bite has a flavor combination that is so good. And the fresh herbs and the green onions. Who wouldn't love these? You know, these would be great at Christmas, too, to put out on a buffet. There's just one, you know, like 1 or 2 bites. Great to serve your guests. It'll be the talk of the tree. But we made a lot here. I'm going to have some crunch wraps for lunch. And there we go. So those are going in along with our little turkey bombs. And when we come back, I'm going to show you something you can do with leftover pumpkin. It's spectacular. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. We have our turkey bombs in the oven, and they're going to be so good. And we're going to make a dipping sauce in a minute. And then we have our stuffed mushrooms with all those flavors. You have to try those and make it your own. Use different things that you have on hand. You can put water chestnuts in it if you want. You can do bacon pieces, ham, something salty always works well with that. And a cornbread stuffing would be good as well. And now we're going to do, see, I had leftover pumpkin. So we're going to make some pumpkin donuts. And these are so easy. And they're baked. They're not fried. So they're kind of like a donut wannabe, but they're baked. So they're fun, they're easy, and I think you're going to like it. So I have in here about 1 3/4 cups of regular flour. And in here, my little egg holder, I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. So we're just going to put all that in at once. And then I like to sift it because it distributes it evenly. I'm not much of a baker, but this is something that I love to do. And they're so good to bring into work or leave them out if somebody comes by for coffee, or just making them in the morning. It smells like Thanksgiving. It smells like the holidays, anything with cinnamon. So I'm going to do that. And then in the bowl here, right here on my left, is 1/2 cup of any kind of vegetable oil. You could use butter if you want, but I thought vegetable oil might be good. I always have it on hand for the holidays, so why not? And then I'm going to put all the rest of this because it still has the salt in here and some of the pieces of freshly grated nutmeg. And you want all of that, but it's just to incorporate in. Actually, it makes your flour fluffier and you get a finer texture when you do that. And I'm going to set that aside. And then in here to our 1/2 cup of oil, I'm going to do 1/2 cup of regular milk. Or you can use 1/2 and 1/2, whatever you have. Crack 1 egg, and I always do room temperature eggs and ingredients because they tend to blend better if they're room temperature. And you get a lighter, fluffier texture as well. And do that. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. This is vanilla bean paste. Yum. And this is about 6 tablespoons of canned pumpkin. Not pumpkin spice pumpkin mix, but just plain canned pumpkin. And if you didn't have pumpkin, you could use a cooked sweet potato, a mashed sweet potato, if you had those left over from Thanksgiving. That would be great. And mix it as much as you can. And then 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar for a little sweetness. And this has all the taste flavors of donuts and also a pumpkin pie. And I made my beautiful pecan pumpkin pie that everybody, if I don't make it, I hear about it. So I have to make it. And I always make it extra full in the pie crust, and I always have leftover filling. So why not use what you have? You know what else pumpkin is good for? Leftover pumpkin is pumpkin popovers. When's the last time you had a real popover? And we're going to make those some holiday. I'm going to do those for you because it's kind of a New England tradition. So we're going to take our flour and all this mixture and just pour it in with all the spices. Oh, this smells really good. And we're just going to mix it up until it's blended. And whenever you have baking powder, you don't want to overmix your dough because it'll get tough. So that looks about good. Let's call that done. And then I have some little mini muffin pans. Now, if you happen to have those cute little donut trays, they look like donuts, you could certainly use those. But you can see I've sprayed this liberally with some nonstick spray. And I have a small scoop so that they're uniform. And we're going to put those into the pans. And these, what's fun about these, they only take about 10 to 12 minutes at the most. And we're going to do a little sprinkle topping on them. We're going to roll them in some cinnamon and sugar. Yum. These are so good with coffee in the morning or the afternoon or at night. You should have just about enough. I love using a scoop because they come out evenly. They're all the same size. You know what else I was thinking about the other day with leftover pumpkin? My mind was going a mile a minute because I love the flavors. Have you ever had pumpkin pancakes? How good does that sound? These would be really good for pumpkin pancakes. And these are going to bake a little bit lower at 350. So I'm going to wait on these to put those in the oven. And oh my gosh, I had just enough. There you go. And we're going to pop these in the oven. And I'm going to put the timer on. I'm going to check them after about 12 minutes to see how they're doing. We're going to check on our other goodies that are in the oven, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. I put our little pumpkin donut holes in the oven, and like I said, we're going to check them in about 12 minutes at 350. So I turned the oven down a little bit, and here's some more leftovers from Thanksgiving. Recognize this? Cranberry sauce, and we happen to like whole berry cranberry sauce. There's not a lot there, but we're going to make a dipping sauce for our turkey bombs that just came out of the oven. Wait until you see them. They're spectacular. So I'm going to take it. I warmed this up a little bit just because it'd be easier to mix. And I have a little bit of pantry items here, some Dijon mustard. Not a lot. This is all to taste. And for a smoky element, this is a barbecue sauce, a smoky barbecue sauce. Just a little bit, and we're going to taste it. It depends. Do it to your taste. You know, you can always add more. But I think this is going to be a great dipping sauce. And then a little bit of brown sugar because we have not a lot because the cranberry is sweet, excuse me, and we don't want to overpower it. But then I had offset it because I had this apple cider vinegar glaze. And I thought that, you know, apples and a little bit of cider add a little tanginess to it. And this will be our cranberry element to our turkey bombs. And I'm going to put this over here in this lovely plate. And I like a shallow dish on the shallow side if you have a pretty saucer so that you can get a good bunch of this dipping sauce to dip your turkey bombs. And there you go. How easy is that? And there's our cranberry dipping sauce. That's very good. And we're going to plate up all of these leftover Thanksgiving dishes for you. And do your own spin on these. These are going to be great. So when we come back, it'll be all plated. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Look at our little donut holes. They kind of look like muffins. And I have a mixture here of cinnamon and sugar. And I'm rolling them around. And we're going to, while they're still hot, that's important. You got to do this while it's hot. And it's probably 2/3 of a cup of sugar and a good tablespoon of cinnamon or pumpkin pie spice, whatever you have. You could just use nutmeg. But I had plenty of that during the holiday. And these are right out of the oven. They took 12 minutes to cook. Oh, this smells so good. This would be nice to bring to a friend or a neighbor that isn't going to be out for Thanksgiving or for the holidays. Bring them to work. So nice. Thanksgiving or for holidays are for people and sharing the bounty of the season. And this will certainly do it. They're so light and fluffy and sweet and coffee friendly. So there you go. And there's plenty extra because I have a whole nother tray over there that I'm bringing over to my neighbor. So that is our tray of cinnamon, sugar, pumpkin donut holes. And take a look at our stuffing stuffed mushrooms with the cheese and the sausage and the stuffing mixture. These are great anytime. And take a look at these turkey bombs. Are they gorgeous? Think about all the different fillings that you can do and inspire yourself and treat yourself to something fun with leftovers. Anything and everything can go in there. Those are spectacular. So I hope you try these recipes, and I hope you'll visit my website on YouTube and also on Facebook for more recipes and ideas and menus for you and your family. Try these recipes. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you for watching. Happy Thanksgiving the day after. And may the fork be with you.